Now that is a rare sight. I'm watching all of the Target employees like filing in. Man, it's like watching a rare species, perform a mating ritual. That was crazy. That's like seeing a shooting star. I think that's a good omen for the day. Seeing the Target employees start their shift. I don't think any of you can say you've seen that before, unless you work there. Anyhow, we just got done at the gym, and you're probably wondering, bro, where's the pre-gym yap? Where is it? Well, I did record it, but it was like freezing outside, so I had the AC cranked up all the way, and I like listened back at the footage, and even with the voice isolation, it sounded like I was in like a blizzard or something. Like it sounded like I was in very harsh weather conditions. So, I figured, we'll just do it live, as one would say. So we had arms today, and I was running a little late this morning, so we only had about 45 minutes. I mean, that's kind of exactly enough time that really anybody would need for a sick arm day. I'd like a little more time just because, I like to, maybe throw in an extra like burnout set, or I always like to do forearms if I have the time, but for the status or for the given variables of the day, this is golden. This is perfect. Really good pump. I mean, it was pretty freaking great, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's probably because I had more carbs than I normally do. So yesterday I had about 190 grams. I was still within my calorie deficit of 1800. And then we were like a lot lower in fat, and then 140 something protein. So protein numbers were not as great as I wanted them to be, but still perfectly good. So I think that extra carb up kind of gave me some pep in my step. So it was great. Is this falling? POV, I'm grabbing you. Anyways, yeah, really good arm day. And it was just a lot of like, there's this cable variant that I've been enjoying doing. Oh, is somebody getting pulled over? Damn, that sucks. But you get two D handles, put them on the same carabiner, and you're pretty much mimicking the same movement path as if you were like holding the rope. But because your hands are more like horizontal and you're like moving outward towards the movement, I don't know. Try it out. Trust me, feels pretty darn good. So, a couple of sets of that, a couple sets of like overhead extensions, and then burnout with like underhanded, like crossbody tricep extensions. Just worked all the heads, felt freaking great. Got a really good burny feel, so that was awesome. Biceps, we did a lot of cable work today. So I got the easy curl bar cable attachment, 3 sets of that, 2 sets of and this is something I've really enjoyed doing lately, is normally I would do it like on the lat pull down machine, but both of them were taken, so I just did it on the cable. I just dragged a bench over, and you get one of those like close grip attachments, and you just kind of like, instead of doing like an actual pull down where you're activating your lats, we gotta get a move on, guys. We gotta figure things out. But instead of activating your lats, you're kind of focusing on like keeping your elbows in a fixed position, and you're like pulling it towards you. I hope that makes sense, but maybe sometime this weekend I'll actually have a chance to record things in the gym. So this guy wants to kill me. He just cut somebody off. That was insane. I'm telling you, every time I record, it triggers some sort of like a Russian sleeper agent type deal with these drivers. Something always happens. But yeah, and then I burnt out with just some standard, dumbbell curls, and that was that, man. It was awesome. Really good pump. Damn it, I need to get like sticky notes or something and just kind of set them on my dash with like topic ideas. Gosh, I did have something, but I can go on another tangent. That's okay. So we are pretty much not sticking to, but like we've been consistently in the range of like 184, 185. So that tells me that things are going well. Every now and again, during this entire deficit, I'll reach a point where I'm like not stuck at a weight, but I'm at this weight and I like consistently stay at that weight for like a week. Okay, no changes in diet, still consistently keeping myself in that deficit. Anatomically speaking, it could be like some form of like recomposition. I think a more likely explanation is just like water retention. For whatever reason, I'm retaining more water. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just kind of surmising here. But for a week, I'll kind of stick around that weight, and then the following week is when I start like dropping down in numbers again. So it's been a few days of 185, so I'm expecting to see like the 183s, 182s pretty soon. Pretty darn soon. Honestly, I don't mind sticking at 185 for a minute because, I'm still going to be losing fat during, this entire time I'm in a deficit. So as long as I remain in that deficit, I'm still going to be consistently losing that fat. So if I stick at 185 for a minute, really all that means is that, maybe I will be able to stop at like 175. I'm putting a pretty hard stop at like 175, 170. I do not want to drop any lower than that. I just can't. I can't justify it. I don't know. I can't believe I even have to drop below 180, man. I mean, I thought 180 was like the perfect weight. So maybe this is just my ego talking, but I don't know. I've considered myself a 200 plus pound lifter for like most of my life. Here we are at 180. Nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. So expect to see the numbers drop quite soon. What else? I get this question a lot, like just from like general people in my life when they get the lore drop about, my, call it bodybuilding career, where they're like, like how much weight did you start at? And I tell them, 262, and I'm down almost 80 pounds. And they're always like, dude, like, how do you, I bet your joints feel amazing. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. My joints don't really feel any different. I haven't really noticed any differences with my joints. I think that's probably because I don't like run or anything. Like, I think like any type of running is where you'll notice like any real impact to your joints, which I just do cardio. Like I just walk around or cycle around. So no real big noticing there. There are two big differences that I've noticed, okay? And I'm talking purely feel, not like aesthetics. One, like I obviously feel a lot lighter. And the only way that really translates into my everyday life is I can do pull-ups. So I mean that's pretty cool. I can do a lot of bodyweight pull-ups. I never used to be able to do that, so that's pretty darn cool. The other big difference I've noticed, sorry, I'm like fighting for my life right now. I'm in a very tight lane. But the other big difference that I've noticed is I am perpetually cold. So I went from the from the opposite extreme, where I always felt very like warm and I was always sweating. Now I'm always sweat. And that is just the weirdest thing to me, because I never thought that I would say that. I just kind of I don't know. I always thought that was just kind of like a thing that I would have my entire life. Like I'm just a sweaty guy. But evidently that is not the case. I'm not a sweaty man anymore. I am always cold. My hands are always cold. So that kind of sucks. But honestly, I'll take it. I will always take the good with the bad, you know? So, pretty darn cool. Other than that, though, no real big differences in terms of like feeling. Definitely feel hungry all the time, but that kind of just comes with being in a deficit, especially for so long. I mean, aesthetics is like the number one thing that I've noticed the differences in. I mean, to call it a night and day difference is doing a disservice. I mean, I'm really glad that I've been doing these videos and all of these pose downs and stuff like way back when I was at like my heaviest. I'm so glad I have that, because now it's really cool. Like if the body dysmorphia is just really like kicking my butt one day, dude, I have this one video, and at the end of the cut, when I'm like calling it there, I'm gonna upload a video of like, I'm gonna try to make it like a side by side of the pose down, just so you can see how freaking crazy the difference is. Dude, it really does bring a smile to my face, seeing just like, I didn't realize that I was so big back then, and you don't really notice it until like you've kind of like worked your way down, and then you're like, holy cow, man, like you really don't notice. And I suppose on the flip side, you don't really notice how much progress you've made, you know, when you've been doing it for so long. I mean, you see and feel your body every single day. So like, if we were to like flip a switch and I was like 262 instantly, dude, I bet I would know. It would feel like I'm in like a gravity chamber or something. I'm positive. Man, there's this one of the like wake up calls for me that I needed to like lose weight. This was before I was like into bodybuilding. This was purely like okay, I gotta lose weight. I was going downstairs. I think I was like, this was undergrad, and I was in the science building. I was going down the stairs, and as I was going downstairs, you know, my fat chest had a lot of weight to it, so there's a lot of recoil going on. So like, as I was going down the stairs, I like, shit. As I was going downstairs, I like held myself, you know, and then like after I did that, I was like, okay, like this is like, we've got to change something here. So that was my wake up call. I think I saw a really funny interview with Kevin Gates, the forefront free thinker of our time, and they're at, because he used to be really fat, and during this interview they were like, so like, what made you want to lose weight? And he was like, well, I think he was saying he was holding like his nephew or something like that, and he's like, I'm holding the baby, and I was shirtless, and as I'm holding the baby, it goes, you know, like it's going to latch, because I guess it felt the tissue and thought, okay, like, you know, it's time to latch. And that was his wake up call. So I think we're on par with traumatic events that cause us to want to lose weight. While we're on the topic, I remember back in middle school, okay, this was 8th grade, all right? 8th grade, I weighed 188 pounds. Like at one point during 8th grade. And I remember that because I was in wrestling, and you know, weight is a very important thing to determine what your weight class is. And so I was like 188. That stuck in my mind. So it's kind of crazy that now, almost 10 years later, I'm lighter than I was back then. Anyways, I sound like an old head right now. But during 8th grade, there's one day I was like walking through the lunchroom, and at the time I wore like undershirts, like t-shirt undershirt, which I don't know, I think is kind of weird, but like from an Arabic culture, like you wear wife beaters with everything. I shouldn't call them that. Undershirts. You wear undershirts with everything, okay? So I was wearing that, and I was walking through the lunchroom, and this girl, I remember her full name. It is engraved into my mind because I'll never forget this moment. I'm not going to name drop her here, but I didn't forget. I have not forgotten. But she looks at me, and she goes, "Maudie, are you wearing a bra?" Yeah, that stuck with me. That stuck with me. And I think that's where the you know, I can't call it self-hatred, but I beat myself up a lot for my like body weight, you know, issues at the time. And I developed a lot of self-esteem issues and, you know, body image and confidence. I'm not saying it's her fault, but that was certainly the like call to sentience of like, you know, realizing just how like heavy I was. And I never really made an effort to change it, you know, like I just kind of kept going on with it. Like I was involved with wrestling all through high school, and like I did soccer and stuff, but like I never made an effort to like, I didn't care about any of it. I just did it because my friends were, you know, so I never like tried. I did the bare minimum, and I ate a lot. So, you know, took a while to actually get around to fixing that, but here we are. So I guess my point with all of this is, what is my point? I'm just kind of talking now, but, you know, whatever your reason for like wanting to lose weight or get fit, sometimes for us bigger folk, and I'm sure like on the flip side, like with skinnier guys, you probably have some sort of traumatic event as well, like insensitive comments from family members. I mean, dude, it happens all the time. All right, and it's hard to let go of them. You know, I know like a lot of these negative comments and experiences in my life just from being overweight definitely like stuck with me. They obviously still do, but now I don't look at them with any feelings of like hatred or anger or self-loathing like I did back then. I've learned to kind of, you know, you take what you can from past experiences and then you move on, because that's all it is, you know. After you've learned your lesson or gained whatever valuable insight you can from a negative past experience, drop it and move on. Because the only thing you're doing otherwise by like reminiscing or thinking about it in a negative aspect is you're just suffering more from one experience. So you're doubling or tripling your dose of suffering, which there's no reason to do that, you know? Like, it's done. What's done is done. You learn what you can, drop it. So, you know, a lot of you probably deal with that, especially like if you're trying to get into the gym. Maybe you have that like a breakup text or something, but like, you know, whatever your reason is for like getting into the gym, if it's like negative, I mean, you know, it's good to kind of use that as motivation to get into the gym, but like, don't hold on to it, you know. There's no reason to like hold on to this type of anger and this type of like negative emotion, especially in the gym, especially in an environment where you're trying to better yourself. I don't see a reason for it. There's no reason for it, you know. To take some words from Vinland Saga, I have no enemies, you know, and I really like that quote. I mean, people can say that they're your enemy, and I mean that like both in the literal and metaphorical sense of like, you can have your issues, you can be upset with people or things or events, but they only have as much power as you give it, you know. So I don't have any enemies. Like I don't let any of these past issues like reflect on my current life, because I know I'm doing the best that I can to like be better. Every day I'm getting better. So You know, every negative experience that I had in my life has led to me being who I am right now. And I'm pretty happy with who I am right now. I'm like very proud of all of my accomplishments and how far I've come. So, I mean, you should be too. And even if for whatever reason you're not happy with where you're at right now, dude, that just means you get to work on it. That means that every single day you will have some sort of small victory to celebrate. And that like road to success is going to be lined with victories, you know? Like, take it and run, man. No matter how small it is, like, always celebrate yourself. I gotta stop getting into these motivational talks, man. Man. Anyways, Yap session is over with. I think I've made my point. I don't even remember how I got here. So, we've got legs tomorrow. There are some signs posted around the gym that said that the energy provider for the building, they're doing some sort of necessary maintenance on the electrical, like, I guess, voltage meters or whatever they use. So the power will be out from 7 to 10 a.m. Okay. They're going to have mobile, like, lights set up across the gym so it's still bright. But, like, obviously none of the treadmills or whatever are going to be working. So normally I'm like on the treadmill until 7:30. So I guess what that means is I gotta get to the gym a little earlier tomorrow. If I get to the gym at 5 and lift till 6-ish, 30 minutes on the treadmill. Yeah, I think that'll work. And worst case scenario, I can always just go back to the apartment gym and finish my cardio there. So, yeah, we got legs tomorrow, and I've got a lot of rest to catch up on this weekend, so that'll be nice. But catch you guys on the flippity flop.